Well, the fact that I was in that situation and I was able to at least make contact would have been an accomplishment just based on the emotional strain of that week. But to hit a home run and the fact that people still recall and remember that as something that uplifted them a little bit is just a continued sense of honor for me. And I mean that because, again, I truly feel that I wouldn't have done it if I didn't feel the love and the support from everyone in the stadium and everyone pulling for me. And as I've said before, when you have many people pulling for you, you feel it. And it was wind under the wings, so to speak. And so the fact that people still honor that honors me. So it's something that, without a doubt, probably the proudest moment of my career. Look, I mean, I know on a level of baseball that, and I tell fans, it's hard to win. It's really difficult to win, and winning in New York City is probably a little bit more difficult than anywhere else. And I think the expectations here are high, and it's always difficult when you set out and you're not successful. But with that said, as I've said before, you still have to do the work behind, and I think they made a pivot to try to get a little younger. They had one bad month, and in this day and age, one bad month can obviously, kill the season. So, with that said, losing the closer was not a good start before the season ever started. But ultimately, I think it comes down to that you still got to make the hard decisions. And I think we can look at this year and hopefully learn from it. I think last year, so I say sometimes nothing could lead to failure more than a little success, because you start to think you have it figured out. And I think this year was just one of those, you got to just learn from it and move on and hopefully make the moves in the offseason. I mean, they talk about 25. I just still believe in this day and age, if you can put together a couple of good moves in the offseason, solidify some of the weaknesses that the team has, you can be in it next year. I mean, there's no reason why. It's going to be difficult, but with that said, you got to try to bring in, or at least re-engage the character aspect of the team and how difficult it is to win, and hopefully they can. I mean, they have a good basis. They have some good guys. There's some, you have the shortstop Lindor, obviously you have Alonso, you have O'Neill, you have Nemo. These are all good guys. So I think ultimately they know how to win, but it takes a team to win. To do anything, you have to have everyone having a good year together, and you got to avoid the major injuries. And that's it. Very simple. Just rumors and innuendo is part of the game. That's just the way it works. I think he's a really great kid. He's a good player. Obviously, on a business side, he's got to work that out on his own with the team. And I obviously, wish him the best. I think he's, I tell players all the time that, you're only worth what you negotiate. I mean, that's the way it is. And I believe that whatever his personal situation is, I hope it works out for him, and I hope it's in New York, and I believe in my heart it will be. But of course, there's work to be done on that front. I think he's come up, and I saw recently, I was watching the replay the other night, he's having a tough time recently, and I thought to myself, good. That's a good thing, because players need to struggle, and they need to go through adversity, and they need to get out of slumps and get out of difficult times. So this is a great time for him to learn and find his way. He's looks good behind the plate. It seems like the pitchers enjoy throwing to him. I think he's got a good future. But of course, you still can never take things for granted. You always got to work hard. You always have to put the time in. The pitchers need to know you're behind them 100%. Do the homework, swing the bat. Myself, it's tough for me to hit a different style. I think he's definitely can be a little bit more disciplined at the plate, which I hope is a good rule for any hitter. But again, he's going to learn, and so that's a good thing. But I think he's a good kid. He seems like he's working hard, and it looks like he has a great future.